This is what our painting is going to look like when we are finished with the grayscale portion. You can add colors with clear glazes on top of it, but here's the process for getting to this point. So I started off with a gessoed surface and then painted a warm brown on it. And then I used gray paint to draw the basic outlines of the forms. If the proportions were off or there were errors with it, you can see I just went over it with another color until I got it right. So do not worry about making mistakes. Just keep drawing with your paintbrush as though it was a pencil. And if you need to erase something, just change colors and draw right over the top of it. So on this one, notice now that the light is coming from the left and there's cast shadows going over to the right, and all of the forms change from light to middle to darks, and sometimes there's reflected light bouncing back onto the object on the dark side of it. We are not going to worry about any of that yet, and we are just going to start off with some really basic shading, trying to just show that the light is coming from the left, the shadows are on the right, and so are the cast shadows. I like to start off with the dark colors, such as black and really dark grays, and then add in the light colors after. This took me about 4 minutes, and I've condensed it down into about 12 seconds. So in here now you can see I'm adding in whites and light grays and blending them into middle grays, and just trying to complete the rough shading of showing where the light and the shadows are. I turn my paper if it's easier to paint upside down or sideways in order to get the right brush stroke angle, remembering to always pull your brush. And this is about 25 minutes condensed down into just over a minute. Also within that 25 minutes you can see I'm painting the negative space and trying to correct anything with the form that needs to be corrected. So if I need to make something smaller, I can do that by painting around it and a little bit over the top of it. So this is now jumping ahead a bit. I have started to paint a second coat of paint, and I'm really trying to refine the form. You can see on that cylinder I'm pulling the painter's tape away and I have a nice crisp clean edge. The gradation on the cylinder is really smooth, and I'm going to go back in and rework that cast shadow a little bit, but I first wanted to make sure I was really happy with the form of the cylinder. And now once that's dry, then I could always tape on top of the cylinder to paint the background later. And I do have to do that with the box. I have to paint each side one at a time with the painter's tape if I want to have really sharp, crisp, clean edges. So a couple of different ways to apply paint. You can see here I'm using really thick paint on this sphere and really trying to blend them together. Another way you can do it is to scumble. So you have your base values down and then you're just going to use a little bit of paint and kind of scribble with the brush and try to blend them so the underpaint is still showing through a little bit, and you're just blending really, really thin coats into each other and trying to hide the brush strokes at the same time. So it's taken me about an hour to get to this point, but I'm going to really try to refine these edges so things are straight and even and it looks really 3D. So I've condensed it down into about 2 minutes, but this is really about an hour's worth of painting, letting areas dry, moving the tape. When I get to the box part, you will see on the cube that I'm doing each section one at a time. I'm doing the little lip to show the thickness of the box on the opening. You can see The painter's tape is over there right now. It's not where I'm painting, it's on the right hand side, but I have that taped off to paint that little edge. And so now I'm getting really nice straight forms, and then I will also be repainting the negative space in the background as well.